Welcome to Sports Center. This is the Scoundrels Inc. Edition.
No.
Do I know how to talk?
No.
Are we going to retake?
Yeah, we are.
We can't retape it. No, I do not. No retakes. We do it live, okay?
Oh, gosh.
This is like ESPN. Look, there's two of us. It's your main man, Kevin Smets here.
Your main man.
The main man and my best guy here. That is Frank Janish, or we like to call him Frank, the salacious crumb.
Oh, no.
Laughing son of a bitch. I got nothing.
Wow. Okay. Well,
should we do a new one? No. You know why?
No, we'll keep this going.
I'm in a bad mood today because I'm dieting. I am down 10 pounds since the last time you saw me because I missed last week, so that's good, but not in a good mood because I'm always hungry. I will eat anything. I'm so hungry, my stomach right now is digesting my kneecap. Are we supposed to say things about Scoundrels Inc. too? I'll let you go.
Well, no, I was going to say we're talking about the Bad Batch
episode
this week, and we have some questions that were submitted in our Discord. We'll be answering those at the end of the show. We're also going to talk about that Jon Favreau Empire Magazine interview, or the quote, rather, that was put out that really sent Star Wars Twitter ablaze. So we'll get into that. We'll give you our thoughts on what he said. And you're mad.
Oh, yeah, and I got a special announcement, too. So
the special announcement.
I could say it right now, but then you wouldn't watch the rest of the show. So it's going to be somewhere, sometime in the show. Roll the logo, and then we'll continue. That might be one of our worst openings ever, but I'm proud of it.
It might be.
Yeah.
And there's only two of us, so
yeah,
what does that
tell
you?
But
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, hey, it's like I feel like we're like a sports report here. We're gonna do your post game show here. Taking your calls. We're gonna take your calls, take your faxes, like Jim Rome and the Jim Rome Show about Bad Batch. Some of us are lucky enough to get to watch that episode
twice.
Yeah.
Did you watch it twice?
Oh, I did.
You did.
You know what's interesting about this show? This episode. Yeah.
What do you?
Yeah. Filler episode.
Oh my! You drew that?
I drew it, and not only I drew it,
you took the time.
I colored it in too. For you podcast listeners, I have a piece of paper here that says filler episode, but I didn't just like write it with a Sharpie. I had multicolored, I want you to have it.
I don't want it.
Yeah. See, thanks to Frank. See, Frank texts me and says, "Hey, when can you get there?" He says literally, and I quote, "As soon as possible."
So as soon as you can, I said.
As soon as I can.
Yeah.
So, of course, as soon as I can means that my main man, Frank here, needs my assistance. So I hop in the car, get there as fast as I can, just in time to watch the Bad Batch episode again, because he didn't do his homework.
No, I did do my homework.
I got in trouble one time for not doing my homework.
Yeah, well, see, I actually then did it.
You did.
So
we got to watch the episode twice.
So yeah, I watched the episode right when Kevin got here because I didn't have time throughout earlier in the day to watch it.
And he shushed me. I'm trying.
Of course I shushed you. I want to watch the episode. I don't want to hear you.
They lose the Ipsy, and I say oopsium, and he's like, sure.
No, I didn't do that.
Actually,
I just rolled my eyes at that corny joke.
Yeah, I don't think he ever wants to watch Star Wars with me again, but, I'm just sitting here like ready for it.
Well,
I didn't hate it as much the second time, but...
how can you hate
Because
this?
how do you go from an episode from Palpatine...
Oh, my gosh.
See that? Palpatine.
Yeah.
As long as I say Palpatine, I can say it right.
No.
How do you go from an episode that literally is one of the best episodes, might I say, like how he manipulated everyone. I know I missed the episode, but the recap. But he manipulates everyone to say, "Oh, this is the destruction of Tapoka City or whatever." It's because the clones followed them blind, and that led him to. It was brilliant, right? You go from that galaxy-spanning thing to the Lion King in space. That's what this episode was.
Okay, there's no kings in this episode.
There was a lion. They shot
it. There's a stampede because there's a stampede and makes it Lion King.
They shot it in the same location. You didn't see the same CGI
back in the savannah of Africa.
CGI is real, right? So where they shot the Lion King, they shot this scene with the rampaging.
They went to the animated location of Lion King.
Yes,
and
man, I think there's something there, kind of like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but about all
what?
CGI. Never mind. Anyways, how do you go from that? And I get it, but that's why this episode, and it's fine. I did like the character development with
Tech.
Tech, Tech is like Spock. If dare I say a Star Trek thing in a Star Wars show, but Spock was always had trouble dealing with like human emotions and was very logical.
Yeah.
And Tech seems to be that way too. So him trying to deal with the loss with Omega was an interesting thing, and Wrecker always makes me laugh. But the rest was filler episode. Ding 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 ding.
Well, I don't think it was filler per se. It certainly can be perceived that way. I think there's a lot of animated episodes in Star Wars, just in general, that feel like filler when you watch them at first, and then down the line, they end up paying off for one reason or another. I think, we set up this, so the Marauder gets stolen by some mystery character. We don't know who it is.
Oh, we know who it is.
Who is it?
Ezra Bridger.
Oh, honestly, kind of a little bit the same here. A little bit.
It's Boba Fett.
Yeah.
It's Boba Fett, and he was hired by Sid. Sid turned on all of them, and that's going to be little Boba Fett. We're going to find out later. And Sid is not to be trusted.
Well, Boba Fett, there isn't little Boba Fett at this point. He's kind of like a teenage.
Yeah, it's the same size as. I mean, I just said it could have been Ezra, right? It's better than Ezra.
No. Anyways,
this episode is going to actually be a filler episode. That's why I'm keeping it up here. So continue.
Jesus Christ. So they set up this mystery person. Yeah, people are going to theorize about who it could be.
Who do you think it is?
I really don't know.
Do you think it's someone, or is it
I think it's a new character.
Okay.
I don't think it's anybody that we've seen in the past or a previous character that, like Boba Fett. I don't think it's Boba Fett or whoever else it could be that we've seen in the past. I don't think so. I think it'll be a new character.
Interesting.
It'll be interesting to see what happens when they do find the Marauder. But also, this really plays into Omega's mindset in terms of, we're all a family. The Bad Batch is a family, even though we've lost Echo. Now we've lost our home. She considers the Marauder her home, their home. And Tech is just like, yeah, we'll get another ship. Yeah, Echo's doing this thing. And very kind of cold, as a matter of fact. And, he operates on a different wavelength, obviously. And when he's talking, with Hunter and Wrecker, and they're like, hey, she's going through this type of stuff. You should talk to her. And I do like the scene that we got between Omega and Tech. I thought it did a lot for both of their characters. And yeah, this episode isn't really heavy on oh my god type of moments, but I thought overall the episode was done really well, as all the episodes are. But I do have to point out Kiner with the music. Like, he's just been killing it these past few episodes where it's really stood out to me. And the music is just absolutely on point and incredible. Can't wait to see a release, like they did for like Rebels and Clone Wars and stuff like that. These music tracks released, because I definitely would listen to them on their own. They're close enough to Star Wars, but a little removed from traditional Star Wars.
Yeah.
That it makes it interesting and new and fresh, which I think Kiner does really, really well. Whether it was in Rebels or even here in this show. And
he also blends with like the era, like with the Clone Wars, felt like some of prequel-y music, right? Whereas Rebels, it was a lot more of like the original trilogy motifs, like the like stuff like that.
Yeah, there was a part, I forget which part of the episode, where I could hear like a track from that was playing like Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, he's mixing in stuff. So he is really good at that. Type of thing.
He fits into that era. And this one was good because too, it was very westerny. Shades of Mandalorian, dare I say. So.
Yeah, you know what? It does open up like the track that they use. I thought, oh, it's very interesting type of track.
That's who the kid is. It's young Din Djarin.
That would be, well, I'm pretty sure he's with the
he snuck away.
Now.
His mission
he
was,
snuck away.
His gang
that's why
ritual.
That's why he couldn't see his face.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, not a whole lot to get into with this episode of The Bad Batch. They just set up the fact that they're gonna run into the Marauder again. They're gonna find the Marauder, right?
Oh, of course.
Right.
I mean, the Marauder. Interesting. Aside from when he was shushing me and getting mad at me for making little quips, he did when the Marauder landed. He was like, "Oh, that's a cool." Like he said to himself,
I know.
I like watching Star Wars with you because you in your. He thought he was alone. Probably. Thank God he didn't. Anyways, he said, "Oh, that's a cool ship."
I was like, "Damn, that is a cool ship." And then I was like,
I knew it was about to get stolen, and I wanted because he shushed me. I wanted to be like, "Ha, it's about to get stolen." But I just wrote. Yeah, I didn't ruin it.
But they did a good job of setting up that ship and making me go, "Wow, that's a cool ship," and then go, "Oh, wow."
Yeah, now
some kid stole it.
Boba Fett stole it, or young Kino Loy, and that's why he gets thrown in jail. Kino Loy gets thrown in jail because he stole the Marauder, and then he gets kidnapped by or caught by the police. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay, well, that's good for you. Anything else in this episode stand out to you that you?
Yeah, you laughed at a part that I laughed at too. When I was trying to stay awake in between the other scenes. I'm just kidding. It wasn't that bad. But when Wrecker is, they're like, okay, all you have to do is jump down this, dark shaft, and you don't know what's on the bottom. It's water, and then you got to catch it before you die or whatever. And then Wrecker's like, oh, great, I hate this planet.
Yeah.
You chuckled.
I did.
And when I had first seen it, the first time I chuckled. So.
But also, actually, dropping down that chasm, whatever, when Omega first falls, and then Tech just goes boom right in there, like not even hesitating, not even analyzing like he normally would. He just boom instinctively went after Omega.
And I love that. That's a great call. Like that just shows the development of they really do care for her. Like they are absolutely a family. Just my question is, like, do you think that because there was common areas and stuff, everything at Topoka City or whatever, and do you think that? And we haven't heard one way or the other. Do you think that Omega knew and hung out with Boba Fett? Like, did they play space chess in between, trainings and stuff like that? Like, were they pals? And will that factor in? I'm gonna go all in and say that it's either Kino Loy or Boba Fett, but it's probably Boba Fett.
It's probably someone brand new,
but brand new hired by Sid. Because can we all talk about how? Done with these Sid missions. You can have an MMO. If you play an MMO, it's just like you go, and some guy just says, hey, go do this, and then you get a point of experience. Like, these people have been under the thumb of Sid for too long now. That's probably why freaking Echo left. It's just like, all right, I don't want to take orders from this
Echo
Trandoshian.
Yeah.
I don't know, but, like, come on, man.
I'm sure it probably didn't help.
And she's rude calling someone Goggles. Like, I would never call someone Goggles.
Yeah, you would.
Maybe he's embarrassed that he has to wear those
not embarrassed.
Coke bottles as sunglasses or regular glasses. But, yeah, I think Sid perpetrated this, because then she's like, oh yeah, I'll help you, I'm gonna hang up during that freaking phone call or whatever.
She's like, give me a few days.
Give me a few days? What are you talking about? And can I talk about something else? How easy is it to steal a vehicle or spaceship in space? I was telling him during the show, this is when he shushed me actually, I was like, come on, little Boba Fett or Ezra Bridger comes in and just steals the ship. It would be harder for me to break into Frank's car right now to steal a ship than it would be for me to go to Jakku and just hop into a Millennium Falcon, which hasn't been flown for years but is fully gassed and the battery's charged, and you just take off with it. Or they were going to go to that quad jumper, but that was blown up. Now Anakin just goes and sees, any car, do Jedi hotwire things? Is that how they took off the car? And then this kid just goes in. Is there not a panel, a little button thing? How do you lock the doors?
Why do you like to ruin things for yourself?
I'm not ruining it.
You are.
I'm wondering why the Marauder was so callously parked.
First of all,
they leave the keys. That's like leaving the keys in the ignition. Star Wars ships are too easy to steal.
You know what? You're right. It would be very difficult for you to steal my car right now.
Yeah.
But someone who steals cars all the time, who knows how to steal a car, could probably do it fairly easily, right? Compared to you.
That Anakin Skywalker was a car thief?
I'm saying he had skills.
Ray Palpatine? It was a car thief?
I'm saying they have skills.
A particular set of skills?
Yes, Liam.
Well, I know.
And not Liam who gets the shades.
Yeah. Look, I'm just saying it's very convenient that ships get stolen so much. I would be so nervous if I lived in the Star Wars galaxy. I would, but then
perhaps this particular person knows how to steal a ship.
The only way you can't get really?
How do you know?
How about in Solo: A Star Wars Story? They had the Falcon parked there, but it had the big gas boot or whatever, the wheel boot, when you don't pay your parking tickets for a long time. That's the only way you can get your ship not stolen. Is by having that, and then you would need someone.
Well, even that they know how to get that off. Why?
I just walked right into that.
Yeah. And they have experience.
Walked right into that.
Yeah. Well, it was a ton of people will probably point to it as like this guy over here as a filler episode. You can certainly look at it that way. I still got something out of it, so I don't think it's filler. I think it also.
Well, that's why I love you, Frank, because you do find the positives out of it, and I'm not trying to be negative. Like I said. I'm bummed that I missed the prior episode.
Yeah, those are good.
And I would have watched that twice or three times. It was really good. And so I just whenever I and the Clone Wars did them too. There's filler episodes in every show. You have to do it. You have to fill a quota. Networks and studios, they have a certain amount of episodes you got to fill. You can't have every episode be earth shattering. Otherwise, the ones that are earth shattering aren't as earth shattering. If that makes sense. So I get it, but I just
All right.
But you liked it, huh?
I did. I did. I got something out of it. I thought it was a really great message. Great message in terms of found family. It's like one of those core themes of Star Wars is family, and this episode was really all about family at the core of it. Even though we lost Echo, we still have what?
You're starting to sound a lot like Vin Diesel from Fast.
I have watched that trailer like 7 times. It's incredible. I cannot wait to watch it.
Omega, it's all about family. Let's have a Corona out in the backyard and then go get our Marauder.
Let's have a little Ipsium. Yeah,
Oopsium. That was a funny joke. That was a funny joke. And he was mad. He didn't want to watch the.
You're a dad. Yeah, I was in the zone. I was relaxing, watching the episode. It was great. It was really great.
Give me some space, Frank.
Yeah. You found the shirt, huh?
We did find the shirt. Update. I found the shirt, and we thought that my wife probably threw it away for good reason, because she'd be like, "It's a guy saying to a chick, give me some space." But I'm gonna bequeath it onto you, but don't show it to Bix, because I know you love Bix.
Oh, Bix.
So, as I'm getting ready for the move, we're just kind of clearing out. And I wore that I think twice, but when I wore it, I didn't have an undershirt. So
yeah, I'm gonna watch that.
I
heavily.
I probably watched it.
Probably like 3 times it should be, right?
Do you want the filler episode signed too? Should we save this?
No, I'm going to throw it out if you give it to me.
Why? Look at the art. It is okay.
Actually, it's not bad, but still, like I can't believe you took the time and effort to make that.
Well, it's because I care about you and the show.
Can I tear it up?
Yeah, you can tear it up. Hold on. What are your thoughts on it being a filler episode, Frank?
That's what I think of it. There's no such thing as filler.
There kind of is. My daughter actually drew that. You just ruined my daughter's.
If your daughter did this,
she's smart. Dude.
I have a daughter. That's a Back to the Future reference. Sorry.
I would give the episode again. Watching it here again a second time. I think it's just because the second I knew, again, once we're on this new planet for this new thing we got to fetch for Sid. It's like, dude, because I don't like Sid. I don't trust her.
Yeah.
I like the actress who played her because I love Cheers, where everybody knows your name. Norm, what are you up to? Oh, my ideal weight if I was 11 feet tall.
Right. What I will say is I wonder if the method in which you're watching these episodes is affecting your enjoyment out of the ones that just don't immediately pop out of the screen. Because here you seem to really enjoy the episode. You're commenting on the sound, how it looked.
You have a good sound system here.
Yeah. These episodes have never looked better. I mean, they're absolutely stunning. Animation.
I think it's also because I'm so hungry all the time now and cranky.
Yeah, maybe that.
And I'm in the middle of a move that
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, again, the manner of which I watched it today was also I had to kind of squeeze it in between work and lunch break and packing. Yeah. So there was some of that. And watching it here, he had the lights low. I came in here.
I get those black.
I came in here, the lights were on. I came in here, and he's like, "Hold on," and then he turned the lights and got all low.
I did not do that.
And he was like, "Sit next to me." Sit next to me on the couch.
I did not do one of these.
We're gonna here. Sit next to me, and I was like, I'll be good here on the chair right next to the speaker. But it does sound fantastic here. So good times. It was a fun time watching Star Wars. It was reminded me of our old days back in before the dark times, before the cancer.
Yeah. Let's transition over to that Empire article excerpt from Jon Favreau. I noticed Star Wars Twitter had some things to say about
it.
And so I'm just going to kind of, for those who may not be familiar, I'm going to pull up what was said here.
In post, you should probably put it on the screen too, so then they can read
love
it.
when you point it out.
I think just in post, you should have the article.
You couldn't tell me this after the episode.
I just think it would be good.
You have to point it out right now.
I want everyone to know that I'm, know so much about post-production. Guess who has to make another lower third?
It's funny. Yeah. There's about I don't know, like 17 different ones. Whatever. Okay, so here's the part of the article that Empire released online. It starts with, while the upcoming season restores the show's original dynamic, it was important that Grogu's time with Luke wasn't for nothing. It just ultimately wasn't his path. Quote, "I think you had to service both things," Favreau explains. Just because this kid has the potential and had training, does he belong away from the Mandalorian? I saw it more like Paper Moon, where the whole thing is about delivering the kid to the blood relative, only to realize that whether genetically through her father or just through bonding, Tatum O'Neal has to end up with Ryan O'Neal. That ending feels really good to me, and this little kid, Grogu, is given a decision to choose, and the kid chooses the emotional relationship and wants to be with the Mandalorian and passing up Yoda's lightsaber. Part of you wants to see him develop in that way, and part the other. Goes on to say here that in terms of Grogu, you have this interesting character who has Jedi training to some extent, Force abilities, but also is joining the Mandalorian culture, which we've established is something that you can opt into. It demands a lot, it offers a lot, says Favreau. Historically, Mandalorians developed all of these tools and armor and weapons to be able to counteract the Force abilities of Jedi, so as a storyteller, this offers tremendous opportunity. And end quote from Favreau on that part. So a lot of people that I saw online took umbrage with the fact that there's another quote that I passed up the reset part one. Let me find it right here. Here we go. In a major new interview alongside blah blah blah, he goes,
congrats to Favreau, by the way, for getting that Hollywood star Walk of Fame.
Yeah, Walk of Fame. So Favreau says, we couldn't just hit a hard reset. The Mandalorian Season 3 issue says, it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds for people who may not have seen the Book of Boba Fett, but I think the Book of Boba Fett offered time to pass. You saw what Mando was like without Baby Yoda, and we saw what Grogu was like without the Mandalorian, and neither of them was doing too good. So them coming back together was a really good plot point that allows us to jump back into Season 3 while maintaining the central relationship. And yeah, that's the part that a lot of people
what's going on? Why is everybody
umbrage
pissed?
with the fact that a lot of people are saying, like, yeah, we know that Mando and Grogu are going to reunite, but it should have lasted. I've seen comments and tweets and things like that saying it should have lasted a whole season, or they did it too short. Favreau's only bringing back Grogu because Disney told them to, because they need to market the show, because they need to sell the show.
That could be true.
Okay, but
I don't think that, by the way. I don't think that. That's a Hollywood has been known to do that before.
If you think like The Mandalorian in terms of trying to sell this show, it kind of, I don't know that it absolutely needs, or I don't think it'll have a hard time selling it if you're like Grogu isn't in Season 3. I think having Grogu, well, let's first start with the major point that is Grogu and Mandalorian reuniting within the at the end, the tail end episodes of the Book of Boba Fett.
Now they reunite. Is that before or after the zombie outbreak with all the clickers?
This guy, I swear, this guy.
I'll be here all week. This is what happens when Brandon's not here. It's just me. I got a filler.
Oh Lord, you're your own filler episode. Is what you're telling me.
I'm the filler. I'm the filler host. Let's be honest.
So with Mandalorian and Grogu reuniting in Book of Boba Fett, Favreau's saying it'll be interesting for people who haven't seen Book of Boba Fett, and there are all the people out there who say I don't want to watch Book of Boba Fett. I'm like, look, all you have to do is watch the last 3 episodes of the Book of Boba Fett, because 2 of them don't even have Boba Fett in them at all. It isn't only until the finale in which everything comes together with Grogu reuniting with Mandalorian there. The argument that it was, too soon to reunite them, it really squashes the emotional impact that you had at the end of Season 2 when Grogu goes off with Luke Skywalker. Comments out there saying they feel like it really lessens that impact, knowing how soon Grogu goes back to Mandalorian.
It lessens it for me, but not in the story. Just me personally, I was like, that separation, if you had a full season and then imagine he comes back later, would have been a nice story to tell. But it's been so long, since there's been a season anyway, that we've already feel that. And I know there wasn't that much time that passed with.
But there's not showtime enough showtime hasn't passed. Real time has passed.
Yeah,
sure. But people out there are complaining about there hasn't been enough time within the show to see Mandalorian without Grogu. Well, yeah. I will say we did see Mandalorian without Grogu.
Yeah, I liked it.
Do I need to see 7 episodes of that type of thing over and over and over again to understand that he doesn't operate well without Grogu, that he misses Grogu? Do I need to see that 7 times so that on the 8th episode, when they do reunite, I'm like, finally.
Well, it would be a nice alternative, but it's not the deal breaker for me. What I'm saying is I get why some people would feel like, oh, it lessens it. I think lessens it is a strong word because you're associating it like, oh, that means that the storytelling's lessened. No, like personally, some people might be like, oh, it would have been nice to really spend that time away, and so when that reuniting comes, it's like a really big deal. And for some reason I can't think of one off the top of my head, and throughout the rest of the show I'll try to figure out something where characters were separated and then when they finally come together later it was like a big deal in a TV show or whatnot. But
this ain't Ross and Rachel.
We were on a break. That's what he's gonna be yelling at Grogu. Grogu.
And it took him like another 7 seasons to end up back together, even though anyways. But what I'm saying is, like,
people
I
are
understand
mad about it. They should be mad.
Like the people, I don't understand why people are getting so bent out of shape, exhausting all of this energy in a way that really doesn't benefit you. And look, if you're already subscribed to Disney Plus, and you're like,
aren't they losing a lot of subscribers? Actually, did you read that article?
I did not.
There's some crazy article where they're like down 2 million subscribers suddenly.
I don't know. I don't.
Man, I'm a bearer of bad news today.
I didn't look into that. I'm
a dark cloud.
Iger had some call, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, getting back to the Book of Boba Fett, it's just like if you have Disney Plus, all you have to do is go over to Book of Boba Fett, scroll down to episode 5, and watch that. And it's Mandalorian right in the beginning. You're not going to see Boba Fett or anything like that if that's what you're so worried about. And then you watch episode 6, and it's got Grogu, Luke Skywalker, and it's really cool. And then watch the final episode of that season. Yeah, you're going to see Boba Fett in Mos Espa and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. But then here comes Mandalorian. Here comes Grogu. It's a great reunion. I was happy to see them reunited. I understood.
Great. Wasn't it during, like, the chase, and they get, like, eye contact, and he's like, Grogu, and, like, you see his eye?
Yeah.
Like, like,
with Peli, and then, so, I thought the 2 episodes that we got in Book of Boba Fett, which is essentially like you know how like some shows like Doctor Who would do like a Christmas special, like that's what those 2 episodes of Book of Boba Fett were to me. Were like they're like Mandalorian specials within the Book of Boba Fett, and I know people will complain because it's titled Book of Boba Fett. I'm like, well, just like
it would have been cool.
What's the point of like harping on that
show just
point?
Called Star Wars. Like the old comic book
That'd be
series.
fun.
You'd have like a 5-episode arc with Mandalorian.
It's kind of like Clone Wars, where it's just all this stuff happens within the Clone Wars, where you weren't always following Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Because when they did that, it was an odd departure. One welcome. I think all of us were welcome. Actually, I like Book of Boba Fett from the get-go. I love the Dancing with the Wolves kind of thing, allegories and stuff with the Sand People. And all my life, I grew up playing with like in the sand, like how he would come out of the Sarlacc. So how he did it, I was happy with, and I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
So I liked it, right? But it was weird that it was like all of a sudden we were watching an episode of The Mandalorian. And what I'm curious about, Frank, is what are they going to do in The Mandalorian? Is it required? Or are they going to do a recap, a pre-Von? Would you do a pre-Von but showing...
That's what I had suspected, but...
Or do they do some sort of
makes
flashback?
So, like, I think that's... Favreau's quote here makes it seem like within the actual episode, they're not going to explain what happened. So I would think...
They're assuming it.
I would think the pre-Von would do that for season, going into the season 3 premiere. I think the pre-Von would establish Grogu and Mandalorian are back together.
That's true, because like Marvel movies don't have pre-Vons, and like if you skip Captain America: The Winter Soldier, then you don't realize that S.H.I.E.L.D. has been destroyed.
Right.
They just mentioned that S.H.I.E.L.D.'s been destroyed.
Right.
A reunion like that is kind of crazy, though. If you are in a bubble and you only watch Mandalorian, at the end of season 2 they separate, and the beginning of season 3 they're together, I feel like they're going to do some sort of montage. The pre-Von they did before the Obi-Wan show was an excellent reverse trailer of
the prequels.
The prequels is really well done. So they might do something like that.
Sure, I do. That's what I think. Like the pre-Von will show that Grogu was with Luke. Said I turned away from Yoda's lightsaber. Mandalorian, was shown that he went back there but couldn't talk to him.
Yeah,
and then he leaves, and then they show them reuniting on Mos Espa and that whole rain course scene and all that stuff. Blah blah blah. I think they'll show that in the pre-Von, and then we'll get right into the episode. And I get like, if they only have like 8 episodes for Mando season 3, do you want to, some people have the mindset of like, I want to spend the entire 3rd season leading up to Grogu reuniting with Mandalorian. And I'm like, well, it's it's even though it's called Mandalorian and it's our essential character starting out was Din Djarin, it is Mando and Grogu. That's the show. The show is Mando and Grogu, right?
Yeah.
That's the show. And so if you go a whole season without one of the characters, then it's not the same show. And I think they made the creative decision, like, this is the show, this is the story we're telling. And that's another thing. People were like, oh, Favreau can't tell a Star Wars story without Grogu. And I'm like, man, like, where are these people who were turning
Haven't
on
you
Favreau?
seen Cowboys and Aliens?
And like,
that was great.
and I was just like, man, this is the guy who gave you season 1 and 2, and then because you disagree with which you have the complete right to do, you disagree with the way they went about telling part of the story. All of a sudden, he's a hack. He's lazy. He can't, he doesn't know what he's doing anymore. But these are also the same people that like he should be running Lucasfilm. But it just shows you how fickle some of the audience can be, and they just turn on you on a dime when they don't agree with a story point or a storytelling method or what have you.
And you don't need to agree with everything. You just need to kind of like sometimes a movie or a show will challenge you, and maybe it's not something you were expecting, it takes time to adjust it. It really does make me think of the discourse and like how everybody like turns on someone on a dime, like how the original trilogy would have been received back in the day on Twitter and stuff like that. If people didn't like decisions, like we love Empire now, but what if Empire came out of the box? I think that would stand the test of time. But maybe Return of the Jedi, they'd be like, what? Like, why aren't there Wookiees fighting? There's these little Ewok things, and they'd be all mad about it, and then turn on everyone that's involved with the production. So yeah,
and you know what's funny is that right now I can totally see this future of these people that are going after Favreau, saying that
that's crappy,
that he's a hack and whatnot, blah blah blah. They're gonna watch season 3 of Mandalorian and they're gonna absolutely lose their minds, and then be like, and then all of a sudden they're back on his side again. He should be running Lucasfilm. He can do no wrong. Give him anything. He can do whatever he wants. Blah blah blah. And that's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen because right now there's nothing else, besides Bad Batch, which arguably doesn't have the biggest viewership compared to Mandalorian, obviously. So what are they going to do? They're looking for any kind of morsel, even though we're a few weeks away from the premiere of season 3.
I feel like I read a report recently that Book of Boba Fett had higher ratings than Mandalorian. Like one of the episodes had a higher view count.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see
Maybe it
that.
was the finale. Maybe it was the Luke. It might have been the Luke episode.
I know I saw something about like the Obi-Wan series had a high viewer count, even though it's like much maligned in terms of execution.
I think it's just because
that's the character too. Yeah. But anyways, all that said, the 2 episodes we got in Book of Boba Fett, the 3rd one where they reunited, I'm good to go.
It was fun.
I'm glad that we can go right into season 3 with both of these characters reunited and we're off to the races.
Yeah.
And I think that was their decision to go that route, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm along for their ride. If you trusted in Favreau and Filoni up to the end of season 2, and then all of a sudden because they did something that you don't agree with, and now you're just like, well, that's it. They're dead to me. Whatever. They're killing what they built. They're ruining Star Wars. Take a chill pill, man. Relax. These are just stories to have fun with, and not be so bogged down in the minutia and the detail and the little mini lefts and turns here, left turns, right turn. It really does good to harp on these things all the time because it's just bad energy, and that zaps you. And so I don't know.
I admire your effort because what you just said, you could easily have tweeted that to appease the people, and then they would all just jump on you anyway. So that's unfortunately. And
I'm also not saying you can't get
fandom.
Bent out of shape once in a while about something, whatever. But it's just like all the time, like any little thing, come on, let's pick and choose our battles and the ones that actually are worth fighting because it's already happened. The Book of Boba Fett came out early last year.
Yeah.
If all this time, and then because Favreau says we didn't want to do a hard reset, and I understand, it's people can disagree with the method in which they went with it, but then to be like, he's a hack, he's lazy, doesn't know what he's doing. Like, come on,
Grogu has a big part to play too because you're right, maybe you didn't need Grogu, and the emancipation and the reclaiming of Mandalore is something that Din Djarin could have helped out with on his own, and now you're having Grogu in the mix. There's got to be a reason, story-wise, why they're going to do that, and I think it's going to be pretty epic, and we're going to love it. Didn't we all know when he got the Naboo starfighter, though, with the little R2 pod? We're like, oh, no, Grogu's coming back for sure. Like, so we already knew it, like, even during that episode.
Well, I mean, that is the other thing. We all knew when Grogu was going to return back to Mandalorian, right? To the Mando. So, like, we all knew that was going to happen.
Because you don't see dead Grogu on the ground in the flashback in The Force Awakens, right?
So we all know that's going to happen. But people out there had determined or predetermined that this X amount of length, this is how you do it. Like, people out there have determined that X amount of episodes is what you need to have a fulfilling impact for the return. And I'm like...
And you know what you'd need to do if you had an X amount of episodes?
What?
Have filler episodes. So see, Favreau's trying to avoid the filler episodes.
I mean, you can make that argument as well. Like, he's like, no, it's
if
all
the
filler,
end
no
game
filler.
is they need to reunite for something big on the story, then that's it. And we're all happy they're back together. Come on, don't act like you're not.
It's just like...
I get it. It lessens it for you, but don't say it lessens it for the story because you don't know the end of the story. That's like stopping when you're reading a book, 275 pages. That's a big book, but 275 pages in, you stop, and you're not going to read the last 100. Like, let's find out where they're headed, right? So I'm happy, dude. I'm happy with everything except Bad Batch. Just kidding. Bad Batch is fine, too. Let's be honest.
All right. Before we get into questions from our Discord, is there...
Yeah. Oh, special announcement. KOTOR's canceled.
Oh, wow, that's special. Okay,
Revan's canceled. Revan made a questionable tweet, and now everybody in the Jedi Council
moving on, I guess.
Kicking him out of the
not
Jedi.
that big of a deal. I thought you had a big announcement, but it's not that big.
Big announcement is I am moving. I've talked about moving. It's great. We're really looking forward to it. We are going to move to San Diego. It's something that I've been wanting to do a long time. For years, many years, people would be like, man, you got to go back down to San Diego. I went to school down there. I have a lot of friends and family down there. And I used to always say, I can't because my job keeps me here. Well, not thanks to the pandemic, because I don't want to thank anything that killed so many people, but due to the pandemic, my industry has changed radically. And for editing, which I'm an editor for TV, reality TV specifically, most of it is gone remote. And where offices have been opening up in other avenues and other industries, my industry has remained largely work from remote. I think it's because studios and production companies are realizing, you just fill a room full of servers, that's less office space. Also, to be fair, there are production companies that could hire editors that are really good at their job that are based in London, Austin, Canada, and so New York. So a lot of the production companies are sticking with the remote, and I polled a lot of different people because it's an important big deal to move out of LA.
He didn't poll any of us on the show. He just said, "Hey guys, guess what? I'm leaving."
Yeah, well, I probably knew your answer was probably going to be like, yeah, go, get out of here.
Yeah, actually, I do need a place to crash in San Diego. So.
Yeah, right near the convention center and the stadium.
Don't tell them where you live.
Cross streets are. No, just kidding. Here's my social security number. No, but so yeah, the job polling a lot of producers and production companies and other editors. It's going that way, and a lot of editors have been slowly leaving and finding new pastures. So we're gonna go down there. We're really excited about it. The move's happening this month. What that means for this show is we've been priding ourselves on not doing, and not that there's anything wrong with the streaming format, but we kind of like the interpersonal communications. How else would I be able to? Man, you wouldn't be able to tear up my paper.
There's that, and we are so chaotic in person. Like if we did that on StreamYard, it'd be unintelligible.
You'd have to do it
it would be. You just turn it off instantly.
Pardon the interruption. You'd have to use the mute button on people. So,
oh my gosh, I would go mute
not
button.
Not part of the
crazy.
interruption. The other one, around the horn.
Around the horn. There you go. Yeah.
But yeah, so we pride ourselves being here. Well, now that I'm going to be in San Diego, that's going to be very difficult. So I'm going to be here, unfortunately, not for The Last Jedi due to a last-minute schedule change. So you'll have the other bozos here talking about it. And they'll have excellent insight. And then I will be here for the Rise of Skywalker, and I will be here for the Mandalorian premiere. And I'm trying to pitch to them, but they didn't reply back. I'd love us to finish the saga by doing a episode 9, Duel of the Fates script review.
Well, the read or review?
Not a read. I don't want to read it.
Because that's what you said in the text.
No,
I was like, I don't want to read this.
I sent you guys a video. There's like a 3-hour motion comic. Someone made a comic book based off the script, and there's a motion comic. So
of Colin Trevorrow's
Duel of the Fates. So I thought it would be fun if we all watched it or read the script, however you want to do it, and then we did a saga recap of Duel of the Fates to see what we thought about it. But yeah, so long story short, I'm not going to be here for all because this is a Wednesday night right now because it's right after Bad Batch. I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to be able to do that all the time. There'll be certain times where I'm not working or I can come up and I can do it. So you're going to see a lot less of me on the show. And so
There go the ratings. We all.
I'm a rating smasher.
Oh, come on.
No, but we sitting down with the guys. We all had dinner a couple weeks ago, and I was just like, I consider this phase 1, and there's no one I trust more with. We all sat together and came up with this crazy idea a while ago, and so it bumps me out that I'm not going to be a part of its day or week to week progression. However, the show's gonna be just fine without me, and I'm gonna still pop up when I can. But
you're gonna be like the Mandalorian in Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, I'm gonna show up 3 times a season, and so that's gonna happen. I consider hopefully we can all 4 of us be together for these last 2 episodes. It's really hard that it doesn't seem to happen.
We have not had all 4 of us in a long time. Just go look at the thumbnails.
I really hope. I think we'll all be able to do it for the Mandalorian premiere. I think that's all part of our plan.
And Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. And then after that, I'll be kind of more on a guest spot. So I consider this like phase 1 and phase 2. It's going to be the other 3 fellas, and they're going to kick ass with it. And I'll be back when I can. And when I come up to LA, which we're planning on doing a lot. I'll let Frank know, and we can fire off a couple evergreen episodes.
We'll see.
You know what I mean?
I was actually thinking of letting one of them go, just make it a 2-man podcast. I thought I'd tell you because you're leaving. I think we should get rid of one more. Who should I decide? Get rid of? Yeah, you can decide.
All right. We'll decide at the end of the Rise of Skywalker Saga recap. We're gonna fire someone else. So it's only 2. But yeah, so I'm going to miss being on the show, a weekly thing, but when I can, and maybe every now and then, I'll surprise the fellas, and I'll just take the train down, and I'll drive up if I can get off work early and brave the traffic and come for a recap. But you're gonna see a lot less of me, but I'll still be, I'm going to be submitting questions to the Q&A.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh yeah.
We might get a video question.
Yeah, maybe I'll do videos.
We'll figure it out, so he won't be completely
I'm not getting
gone.
Fired, and I didn't, they're not letting me go.
No, he's just quitting. Is what.
Hey guys, I'm out of here.
All right, so to wrap up the show, let's get into some of the questions that were submitted in our Discord.
I would like to announce that I am now the newest member of the Sith Council show, along with Christian, Steph, and Mike.
Bitch.
That I'm not really going to San Diego. I'm joining their crew, so it's going to be.
You're moving into Christian's garage.
Yeah, Christian at that couch that he has.
Yeah, that couch. Good Lord. Okay, so we're going to take some questions from our Discord. If you'd like to send us a question, you can join our Discord. The link is in the description if you want to go into our Discord and send us a question. You could also probably shoot one over to us on Twitter or Instagram or even TikTok. Maybe we might see it, we might not. But to guarantee that we see it, hit up our Discord. We got a lot of memes and some really fun discussions in there sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, so first question comes from Booze. He says, or asks.
Did you say boobs?
No, I said booze.
Oh.
B-O-O-Z.
Boobs. B-E-W-B-Z. Boobs.
Okay. This is not a spelling bee. And it would also be wrong. Anyways, Booze asked, what is a dyad and will you beeline? Dang.
Isn't it funny that he wrote that, having he or she, but had no idea? Because if it's boobs, maybe it's...
It's booze.
Isn't it funny that they wrote that and having no idea that we were going to only be the 2 of us
Yeah,
today?
right? That's actually pretty funny.
So you're very clairvoyant.
This is a dyad right here. Here you go.
We love you.
And will you be mine? Sure. Why not? We'll make it a triad. There you go.
That's funny.
Okay, so next question. Darth Mono asks, what fast food...
Darth Bono? Like the musician?
Do you need new headphones?
I'm just trying to maybe I'm about to leave the show, but this is like a new thing.
And not soon enough. Darth Mono asks, what fast food mascot best describes your favorite Star Wars character? This is a great question.
This is why I should read.
I said
questions ahead of time.
I told you
already
to.
prepared. I didn't. You should have watched the show of Bad Batch before. You didn't do that.
All I gotta say is you gotta just do what you need to do before we hit record. That's all. And I've done all that.
Well, we haven't hit record. You didn't hit record, dude. You haven't been recorded. Just kidding.
Dude, you don't understand. Like
just now, did you really think it?
I was like panicking for like half a millisecond. I was like, holy crap, did I not hit record?
This show has it all today, folks. All right, you answer first, and then I'll say that's my answer too.
Okay, well, I read it. It doesn't mean I prepared for it.
Oh. Who are the fast food mascots?
Fast food mascots, like Ronald McDonald, okay? The King over at Burger King. You have Wendy's from Wendy's. The Chihuahua dog from Taco Bell, right? I consider
it a
that.
movie? Is it
No, Star Wars character.
Oh, real character?
Star Wars character.
Wendy's, Mara Jade. Mara Jade needs to be live action, damn it. She'll be awesome. Mara Jade versus Rey? Dude, come on, dude. You kidding me? Mara Jade, Wendy's. That's my answer. Final answer, and that's the correct answer.
Okay.
What's your answer?
Let's see what other mascots we got out there. Is there an In-N-Out mascot? No, right? Just a drive-through attendant, I guess. Yeah.
Arby's, the hat.
Arby's, the hat.
Like Cad Bane.
Oh, that's actually not too bad. Actually,
you can see the Arby's logo, but Cad Bane under. Like,
but
hey,
what is your?
the
question
asks,
But
would you like a roast beef sandwich? That's my Cade.
That's
really
not
bad.
good. But the question does. Let me clarify here. Describe your favorite Star Wars character. So, who is your favorite Star Wars character? And then we got to find a fast food mascot.
All right, so my favorite Star Wars character would be Qui-Gon Jinn. And so
Fast food mascot for Qui-Gon, the Colonel, Colonel Sanders.
I'm trying to think, or because like Qui-Gon with the now I'm thinking like cereal, like the Lucky Charms, but we're talking fast food. Is there Irish fast food? Is there an Irish joint or Scottish? Sorry, Scottish. Jeez, my family's Scottish. I would kill myself. Yeah. Well, my favorite Star Wars character is Qui-Gon Jinn, and you know what? I feel like with the long hair, he's kind of like a hippie guy. Like he's probably going to on the way to Burning Man, and he's gonna stop. Qui-Gon seems like he wouldn't stop at In-N-Out. He would be more like I'm gonna get myself some Jack in the Box guy.
So this is interesting because for the longest time, I think my favorite character had been Obi-Wan Kenobi.
It's changed.
It has changed recently, and
then my friend is truly dead.
Well, my favorite Star Wars character is Anakin.
Yeah,
and because recently he's really claimed a top spot now. Just after, because when we've been going through the prequels and just really diving into those movies, Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, which are on the channel. Go watch those if you want in the playlist in the description below, and exploring, like, again, watching Clone Wars and everything he goes through with Ahsoka, because I really love Ahsoka and the dynamic that he has, that Ahsoka and Anakin have. And I'm like, man, I absolutely love Anakin Skywalker. He's my favorite character. And the one fast food mascot that would describe Anakin Skywalker, the chosen one, it would have to be the King from Burger King. I mean, he's the king. He's the best. You know, he's the king. He's the king. Who would you pick for Anakin?
For Anakin, man.
I don't want to say Ronald McDonald because he's a clown. If my favorite character was Jar Jar Binks, then I would go.
Well,
that's what Brandon would pick, right?
What did the kid? Well, Ronald McDonald land. So Anakin would like McDonald's because he could just go kill all the kids that are playing in the playground.
Okay, that's enough. That's Darth Vader. That's not Anakin.
Shout out to Ken Knapsack because we both like Del Taco. Who would be the Del Taco?
What's the Del Taco?
This is a hard one. And by the way,
this is a good question though.
Worst timing. I'm on diet day number.
I'm getting so hungry right
16.
now. I haven't eaten dinner today. Actually,
I'm dying.
All right.
So now I'm hungry, and on the way home, I'm gonna get Qui-Gon's favorite fast food, Jack. I feel like it would be Jack in the Box.
All right. Thanks a lot, Darth Mano, for the very creative question there. Yeah. All right. We're getting from next question.
Coleman Trevor, because In-N-Out. He would like In-N-Out because he was in, and then he got killed, and he was out.
All right. Our next question is from Maddie Gunner. You know Maddie.
Hey now. Yeah,
What's
guy.
up, Maddie? How you doing, buddy?
Isn't he on another show called Holy Snokes?
Yeah, he is.
Great
with PLD.
logo,
yes.
great show.
Yes,
Shout out to PLD, too.
Maddie asks, which glup shitto would you get a tattoo of?
Coleman Trevor. Nice lead-in. I want Coleman Trevor right there, bro. Right there, dude. Just freaking Coleman Trebs, bro. You don't see my Coleman Treb lower back tattoo, bro?
Damn.
How about you?
I don't know.
You didn't do your research, guy?
Because we're talking about a tattoo, like it's going to go on my body forever?
Yeah, on your lower back.
My lower back?
Right there.
Maybe. If that's the case, then it's gonna be.
Alien Sleazabagano?
No, it's gonna be. Annie Storm's coming.
Oh.
That woman.
You want Jira?
Is that her name?
On her lower
Jira?
back?
Yeah. With
With Pallies? She's holding Pallies.
Yeah.
Or you can have it down here and she's holding 2 Pallies.
Oh, all right. Thank you. Yeah, that's the tattoo I'm gonna
Save
get.
that question. I want to hear. Could you put a pin on that and ask them? Ask the other fellas that one. That's a good one. Curious what they would say. Sure, something crazy.
Which I mean, immediately thought of Dengar because I was like, that dude's got a gnarly face. That'd be a cool tattoo, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, Dio. Thank you.
Did Dio glow up shit out?
I don't know. Maybe not.
Maybe not. All right.
Is Coleman Trevor? He's kind of fascinating, like a huge, important character. He's the guy that almost ended the Clone Wars before they began.
Damn.
One swipe of the lightsaber away.
Next question comes from JX Editor, and he asks, "Do they fly now?"
They fly now.
They fly now.
They fly
now. They do. They do, in fact, fly. Okay, next question is from
Battlefront or watch the Clone Wars. You know that, said John Boyega, probably on set, but was shushed.
Have you noticed every time I say next question, you say something?
Yeah. Okay, next question.
All right. All right, next question.
I got 2 episodes left.
See?
I got 2 episodes left. I got to make myself count.
Can't help. This next question comes from Darth Kitay, and she asks, when?
Darth Pity? Pite? Or Pate? Darth Pate?
You need to get your ears
okay,
checked,
sorry.
whatever.
Kitay. With a K.
Darth Kitay.
You should say that.
Kitay.
You should tell it was a
Kitay.
K. You didn't say Kitay.
I did say Kitay.
You said Kitay.
Oh, whatever, jeez. She asks, when is the next Scoundrels drink? Great question, and I think the answer to that... So I kind of had like a month or so ago, start of the year, I came up with like a huge schedule all the way through Star Wars Celebration, and we had some episodes scheduled for a Scoundrels drink episode. I think most of them are going to tackle like Battle Scars, the Jedi Survivor book, or lead up into Jedi Survivor the game, was going to be kind of like a Scoundrels drink episode, and same thing with us covering Jedi Survivor, at least partially, as a Scoundrels drink episode, and then we'll do a whole. Well, that's if Brandon and Kevin, if you guys play the game. So those were the 2 that I had off the top of my head. There's like another one, I think.
Are Scoundrels drinks able to be streamed? Because I can
that's the one.
It would be weird to we make sure we all drive at the same place to do Scoundrels drinks, so then we could all drive home.
So that's the one that we could stream. We also have some plans how to do that in person with a different kind of setup, which would be fun to do. So we've talked about that before, like amongst us, about how to do it, especially me and Sean, because we did the first one so impromptu. That's what we ended up calling it, and we like that idea, that format at least, to be a little more scoundrelly, if you will. And so yeah, we could definitely do some of those over StreamYard in the future. I don't see why not. But we have an idea of how we would do it as an in-person recording and how we would set that up. So hopefully we can do those in sometime in the future, in the next month or so. We can do those, because that's just another little twist on what we do over here.
When's the next Scoundrels think?
We never think. What are you talking about?
Indefinitely. We don't know.
Next question here.
Wait, but before you say that,
son of a
just kidding. Bitch. Continue.
Prodigal Knight 777 asks,
How do you Prodigal Knight?
Yes, that's what I said.
Now is 777 listed, or is his name Prodigal Knight with triple like typed out, triple and then 7?
Okay, I guess Prodigal Knight 777.
I don't know.
Asks, are the Scoundrels going to Celebration this year? Well, funny you should ask. We've been talking it over, the crew, and we have an idea of how to possibly make that happen. And we're still ironing out the details. And really, that's all I can say so far. But,
Interesting.
We are definitely going to be...
That sounds like a tease for a future.
Yeah, we are definitely going to be covering Star Wars Celebration heavily. I've made that a point of order to try and do as much coverage as we can over here.
Order!
Jesus.
I've been wanting to do that all day.
Someone's got it. We at least has to happen at least once or twice an episode. Like,
yeah. I wonder if it's going to show up on screen, though.
On screen, maybe.
or whatever.
But yeah, so we've been talking about how to cover Celebration and what we want to do for Celebration. And does that include us being physically at a location? I think I would say yes.
Ooh.
We'll just leave it at that.
Somebody get their passports ready.
Last question of the day here comes from Saul or Saul. He asked,
Paul? Is it Paul who? Paul Preston?
No, Paul Heyman.
Okay.
Which Star Wars movie would be
Brock Lesnar?
Which Star Wars movie would be best served by the addition of nudity? That's an interesting question. Oh my gosh, you're wearing a what the fuck Frank shirt. Okay.
You should say what the fuck Saul at this point. But I have this ready in case. Let's see what your answer is, because it's probably going to be real creepy. Let's be honest. So,
no one can answer this without sounding like a creep.
Mine's not going to sound creepy at all. Mine is actually very well thought of and interesting.
Like,
shout out Janine.
How do you? I'm gonna. Oh, here's what we do.
Don't steal mine.
Here's what we do. Here's what I'm gonna do.
Say it at the same time.
The Rise of Skywalker.
Because of the title?
No, because a lot of people don't like that movie. You throw some nudes in there, people all of a sudden, hey, got some nudity in there. Not bad at all.
Oh, you want to see some Orbak? Aren't the Orbaks nude anyway?
Or the
those are those space forces.
What's it called? The Aki Festival? Just a bunch of.
I feel like they're all nude anyway.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, but imagine like that scene, but like how it was from Matrix Reloaded. Remember, like. But just the Aki Festival.
I used that song in KOTOR episode 1. I was so obsessed with that song that I used that song where they're dancing. It's called Zion. And my buddy pasted it up and made it faster, and I have a scene in one of the clubs in Terrace with that music.
All right, what's your answer?
Revenge of the Sith, obviously, for all the Wookiees. See those effers flapping around, dude? Are you kidding me? The Wookiees. Yeah, dude, the battle might have gone when the stormtroopers finally turn on the Wookiees, but the Wookiees aren't wearing clothes. Maybe they are wearing, aren't they?
They're wearing like armor.
They're flopping around. Those stormtroopers are gonna be like, dude, look at the size of that, and then they
quit the chatter, TK's.
Exactly.
32171.
His is creepy because he wants to see a bunch of party goers like naked and dancing.
I'm trying to get people to like the Rise of Skywalker, Kevin.
And this shout out for Justin Hambone Hamelin. I just want to see a bunch of Wookiees naked.
Who doesn't? Yeah.
All right. And with that, he was canceled.
I don't know. I think we gave some really good answers to these questions.
I feel like, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, the other one you could say, well, I would like to say that there's already nudity, Saul. Come on, man. Schmodown, 5-pointer. What movie has nudity in Star Wars already?
What?
You guys
yeah.
Return of the Jedi. Oola. There were a couple frames. I don't know. Maybe they got rid of it for the special editions.
I'm
or the
sure
DVD
they did. I'm sure they went back and like, oh, you know what?
But in the VHS copy, I know because I pause it all the time to look at it. As one of your roommates walks by and now looks at me like I'm weird for pausing it on a nipple of Return of the Jedi.
Man.
But yeah, the boob flops out for like 3 frames. So there's Saul, to answer your question, there's already nudity in Star Wars. Get it, dust off that crusty old VHS player and get ready to have some fun, Saul.
Oh boy,
Oola. Oola's a great character.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I'd get her tattooed on me.
That's a great character.
I would get Oola.
I highly recommend type Oola in memoriam. I edited this
in memoriam.
In memoriam, I edited this for Ken Knapsack. Ken Knapsack did
Force Center.
These Force Centers did in memoriams, and I edited one. He does the brilliant. He has the golden voice, and he does the writing, and we did this brilliant. And I edited it, and we did this one about Oola, and it's basically like a 4-minute like in memoriam or 3-minute where it's like he just tells like the girl's the backstory and the bio, and then like but really Ken has a way with words, and it's so tragic, and like he has this epic line, and I photoshopped I think, and I cross dissolved like as Oola's literally about to get killed, like when she's dancing for Jabba. He says that Oola is pretending like she's on the stages of her home planet, and like so I use footage of like her dancing, but then like blend like her imagining herself like on stage, and I use like this big concert venue, and it's cool. But she has a tragic story, but in memoriam. Look up Oola. We also did an in memoriam for Coleman Trebor, which was great too. So.
All right, that's gonna
Love
wrap,
you, Ken Napzok.
That's gonna wrap it up for this edition of Scoundrels. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Hitting subscribe, hit that like button, leave a comment on what you thought of the Bad Batch. What you thought of the season thus far? What were your favorite episodes? Did you like this past episode or not? Let us know in the comments down below. Also, if you prefer to listen to us on the go, that's great as well because we have a podcast feed. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. What else? What you got there?
You can watch it on the go?
Yeah, on your phone, on your mobile device.
You can listen to it? I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
How do you do that again?
Go to the links in the description.
See what I'm doing? It's like those old radio ads where two people talk and they advertise something.
Well, gee, if I'm really thirsty, Mr. Smets, where can I get the cleanest drink of water?
Funny you should ask that. Yeah. There's a funny episode of Simpsons where Homer Simpson walks in and the guy's like, "Hi, Homer, I'm the guy that invented those ads where two people talk on the radio." And then Homer just looks at him and then punches him out. It's kind of funny. I don't know why I remember that
Violence
joke.
is funny.
There's another funny joke. I wasn't part of the Attack of the Clones thing where Comic Book Guy is being interviewed on the news. I forgot about this. He's being interviewed. Sorry. Well, then we'll wrap up. I got 2 episodes left. Damn it.
Let him go.
The Comic Book Guy is being interviewed on the news because there's a crater that forms from an asteroid hit in Springfield, and they're like, "So, what do you think of this crater?" He's like, "Well, the crater is about the size of the Geonosis battle arena from Attack of the Clones," and it's funny. So I think you can Google that and find it. It's somewhere online.
Okay, well, there it is, folks. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Scoundrel. Scoundrel. I like the sound of that.